To order? Oh, continue.
Yep, I pressed it.
Me too. Okay, so
Me
let's
three.
Start our meeting. May I have a seconder?
You got it.
Okay, John, thank you. Back to you, Angela,
Okay,
since I don't have an agenda.
okay, that's okay. So first on the agenda is to adopt the minutes of the Accessibility Advisory Committee meeting that was held on March 11th, 2020.
I'll move on that. I read it.
Okay,
Okay, perfect. A seconder? Can I second it?
Leo.
Leo second.
Okay, Leo, thank you.
Okay. So next on the agenda, I am going to actually display a PowerPoint for everybody. Give me a second to open this. Okay. So I thought it might be easier, since we are all meeting virtually, to have a PowerPoint to follow along to for some discussion prompts. Some stuff has been carried over from the last meeting, which was held March 11th. And then other things are just new for us to take into consideration, okay?
Okay.
So the first thing is, I actually should just reintroduce myself. I'm Angela Toole. I have attended a couple of meetings in the past. I've met a few of you, so I will be the recording secretary for the committee going forward until further notice. I'm not sure when Denise will be rejoining you, but I will be with you for the time being. I have been with the municipality for 3 years now, and I do act as recording secretary for other committees. So you are an addition to other committees that I am already doing. So I thought I've had a look at the minutes from the last meeting, and in what I've seen from attending your meetings before, we are looking to see if maybe the committee would like to create a work plan for 2021. I know that a meeting has been missed due to the pandemic. But we're looking to see if perhaps maybe the committee would like to create a work plan and set some goals for 2021 going forward. So I have created a, you'll see from this slideshow. Now I just want to know, can everybody see okay?
Yes.
It's
Okay.
fine.
Okay. So in addition to fulfilling the duties of the Accessibility Advisory Committee, which, as you know, would be providing feedback to council, looking at site plans, we want to know if maybe there are some things that the committee might want to drive. So I have a few prompt questions here. So I'm wondering if the committee would like to look at how barriers to accessibility can be identified in the community, how the committee might be able to help the municipality identify barriers in our services. So what would that look like? Would that look like a public survey? Would it look like a feedback form on our website where people can submit ideas or concerns they might have about accessibility? Would the committee like to see us update our accessibility page on the municipal website? Would the committee like to do a review of our website to see if there are any accessibility issues? There is an AODA deadline coming up for us on January 1st, 2021, that requires our website to be accessible to the public. And maybe in 2021, the committee might want to appear before council to provide some accessibility advice or to advocate on a specific issue.
Can I ask a question? Is there a full-time position dedicated to the website overall? That would.
That's a good question. So we do have a communications officer, and she oversees most of the website, and our IT department works on it at the back end. However, in terms of maybe doing a website, a page for accessibility, for example, that could be something that I myself might be able to do depending on what the work is and what the workload would be, in consultation with the communications manager. Okay, does that answer your question, Karen, or?
Yes, and so to move forward on these questions that you're posing, could each of us, like I'm gonna need some time to just think about them. Could we
For sure.
send in our responses to you and then you could coordinate everybody's input?
Absolutely. So I thought that in creating this presentation, that these are more prompt questions. So if anybody has any ideas on these, even right now, to expand on what I've just asked, you're more than welcome. And they're to kind of get ideas flowing through the committee to see what it is that the committee wants and wants next year even to look like what do you want, what do you see yourselves doing? So besides reviewing any site plans that come up here and there, are there other things that the committee wants to do? Are there goals that the committee would like to set in terms of completing a project or even driving a project? Does anybody have anything they'd like to add to that? These are just ideas. You will all be the brains behind these ideas.
The issue with this though, Angela, though, is like the identifying like barriers and whatnot in the municipality. Like COVID is like changing everything. You know, everything has just gone like haywire with COVID. So this is a plan for 2021. Are we including like COVID in this? Because COVID just changes everything like week to week, right? Like, so how, like, you know, just for like, to give you an example for like, if I can't use Leamington as an example, but like if I go to Windsor and if I go to shop in Windsor, like at Costco, for example, they have the accessible parking, which is out in front of Costco, but the lineup wraps right around to the back of the building. So now I have to go all the way to the back of the building. So it defeats the purpose of the accessible parking spot when you have to go to the back. Like, do you know what I mean? So it's like everything's constantly changing. So I don't know how, even if you put something in place, how the municipality can even enforce that because of COVID. Like COVID just trumps everything.
If I could, Angela, or Karen, Rob, that's a great point. But I think that's where we have the ability to approach these corporations such as Costco to identify the difficulties that you're having there. You know, I mean, if no one's made them aware, you know, how do they remedy it? And I know that for a fact that like for health or for frontline workers, they're getting rapid access to the building. So they go up, say, I'm a nurse, show ID, and they're in the building. They don't have to wrap around the building. And I think in this particular case, if we have an accessibility issue, if they were approached, I'm sure you would get immediate access to their facility. Just a thought on that, Karen and to Angela.
Yeah, and for what Rob has, to add to what you said, Rob, if I could, I think that the pandemic has actually brought to light a lot of accessibility barriers. And I think that there have been challenges created by the pandemic, like you spoke to about Costco and, you know, the purpose of an accessible parking space basically being defeated by the fact that, you know, now you're having to go to the back of a very long line despite having parked maybe in an accessible space. So I think what, and the committee, this is totally up to the committee, but I think it would be important maybe we look at a way to identify barriers that have existed pre-COVID, but now exist due to COVID, because going forward, our way of life seems to have changed quite a bit. And it looks as though these changes may be in place for quite some time. So if we can work to identify barriers as a community, and look for some sort of solution to those barriers, I think that might be a great idea. And we don't have to wait until 2021. This can be something that if the committee is interested in doing, like if I was to launch a form on our website asking for feedback on barriers in the community, we can get to work as a committee right away. we definitely don't need to wait until 2021. It's just up to the committee whether or not they want to proceed in this direction going forward.
Okay. Now, can you send us like in an email, send us this work plan for 2021, just so like we have an idea of kind of what to look at and what to write down?
Absolutely. So I can actually show you. I'm going to go to the next slide. I've actually got two things to show you that has to do with the prompts that I provided to you in the last slide. So what I am talking about in terms of a barrier identification form, let me know if you can all see this. Can you see this?
I
Yeah.
guess the website.
Yeah, so this is Collingwood,
Mm-hmm.
and this is an accessible form that they actually have on their website that is available for the public to fill out at any time, so that they can provide feedback as to any barriers they may come into contact with in the municipality. So they're asking what the type of barrier is. So it could even be a policy or practice. Is there something that as a municipality we are doing that we can do better so that it's that practice is more accessible for everybody? Do we not have enough audible signals? Is our method of communication not inclusive? What are areas that we can improve upon? So in terms of gathering barrier identification information, this is an option. If the committee were to direct something like this, is this something that the committee would want available on the website at all times?
If we put something like this on the website, Angela, do we get actual traffic? Do we get a lot of traffic on the city's website?
We do. We put surveys on the website quite frequently. In fact, we have one up there today that just went live for greenhouse light abatement.
Yeah, my wife saw that one.
We've had well over 100 responses today. So
really, eh?
Yes. So if we were to create, if the committee was to direct or work on a project to have a form like this created, what I could do is collect those responses and come back to the committee with those responses for input.
Sounds like a pretty simple project to add to the website.
Yeah, it would be. So of course, what we can do as a committee is we can review forms that already exist, such as this one that Collingwood has up. And maybe the committee could help to identify if there are areas that we can improve upon the form, or how do we create our own. And then that's something that we could look at launching if that's something that the committee is interested in.
How does everybody feel? I like that idea.
Sure,
like
sounds
it.
good.
Yeah.
Okay. So can we get back to you with ideas after we all have a chance to look at this form?
Absolutely. So I can provide to you all the link after the meeting is done so that you can look at this form. I can also send to you the presentation that I've prepared today in a PDF so that you can have a better look at it. In terms of the presentation, I'll go back to the prompts. Now, I did mention something about, there's two things about the website. So there is an AODA deadline that's coming up on the 1st of January that we will have to meet to make our website accessible. The municipality is in the process of converting all of the forms that were once PDF on a new forms module that allows for screen readers to properly read the screen to anybody who might use it. The font is accessible, and it's supposed to be a more accessible option as opposed to PDF.
I guess that's why I asked the question about a communications officer, because I would think that that would be part of their job.
It is part of our manager's job, and she's always looking to ensure that what we have on the website is as accessible as possible. And yeah, everything goes through her before it's even posted to the website, and she'll do an accessibility check on it to make sure that it is as accessible as possible. Sometimes things are not 100% accessible, but we do our best to achieve that 98% accessibility rate. So the other thing on the website, though, would be the accessibility page on our website currently, and I'm going to show you what that looks like so that you can have an idea of what we might be able to improve upon, okay? If the committee wishes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I haven't looked at the page in a long time.
Yes, so this is our page. And as you can see, there is not much going on here. So
Nothing loaded for me.
You don't have it up, Angela.
oh, okay, sorry about that. I'm gonna have to stop my share for a moment and try to share that screen then. Let me see here. Here we go. Okay, can you all see now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. So this is the webpage that we have currently. If you go to our website, just leamington.ca, and type in accessibility, this is the first search result. So it just says accessibility plan. And I'm going to stop scrolling now so you can all see. It just talks about our commitment to accessibility, to ensuring that all of our facilities are accessible, and how you can provide your accessibility feedback to us. So does anybody have any thoughts on how this page looks right off the bat?
The font seems small to me, but it
Okay,
might just be my computer.
okay. So that's something that a user can adjust when they're inside their
Oh,
browser.
okay.
Okay. Any other comments, any additions you think might, this could potentially be if you direct or if we look into building a form for feedback, this could actually be where that form lives.
Right.
Okay. You'll see at the bottom, it says how to provide your accessibility feedback to us. There is an email option, but it might be better served if we create a form with prompts so that people can fill that out and can press a button and it comes right to us.
That sounds good.
Okay.
How about everybody else? That sounds good to me.
Yeah. The other thing on here, I guess, to point out would be the, so it says our commitment to accessibility. So we link to the accessibility laws that exist in Ontario currently, and then we link to our accessibility plan, which is, I believe, going back to council, the multi-year accessibility plan. It should have went already, but due to COVID, it hasn't. So it is going to go at a later time.
Okay.
Okay. Does anybody have any other ideas in terms of, you know, if the committee is interested in overhauling a page like this, are there any ideas that you might have about what else we can add to this page in terms of information for people in the community in terms of accessibility?
Well, is there any links to a website that has to do with the just accessibility? I don't even know the word. What the laws are about accessibility?
Yes, so there is a link already on this page that says accessibility laws in Ontario. I think you might be on a phone, maybe you might not be able to see it very well. If you click on that link, it'll take you to ontario.ca and to kind of a repository or just the landing page where the AODA lives. There's some general information on there. There's information about municipal accessibility committees, advisory committees, and how to sit on, like how to serve on one. And there's some other general information about accessibility that lives at that link.
Yeah, I guess I never looked at any of those, and I just thought for somebody else to see it. I guess I don't bother looking at a lot of that stuff.
Oh, that's okay. You
Just-
can go ahead and what I can do is after this meeting, you're going to have access to this presentation. So if you want to have a look at that website after and get an idea of what's on it, and then take a look at our page too and say, hey, you know, maybe we need a link to this resource for people. You can post resources on there too. At the end of the day, any changes I would make to this page would go through our communications manager to make sure that they are in fact accessible resources and that they're allowed to, you know, have like a home on our webpage at the end of the day.
Okay,
Can we put something on Facebook, inviting people to this page? Letting them know that it's here in case they want to look at it?
Sure. So what we could do is that at the end of the day, if I do updates to this page based on the committee's wishes, when the page is relaunched, I can always ask the communications manager to kind of do a blast on social media to tell them that the page has been revamped and that there are new resources available.
Good idea.
Yeah, just to invite them to maybe take another look or first look, whatever it is.
Absolutely. And maybe that's something that if we were to create a form and have that live on our website, we might even get feedback from members of the public telling us what resources we might be able to better provide to members of the public.
Yeah, and when we do this, maybe we should let them know it doesn't have to be anybody that needs accessibility that looks at it. It could be anybody.
It could be anybody. It could be somebody that you know needs is requiring resources. It could be a family member, a friend, a support worker. It could be anybody.
It could be Mr. Canada for all we care.
It could be. You never know. He has visited us. Does anybody have anything else that they'd like to add on the website page, or any ideas for resources, anything at all?
I have a question if I could.
Sure, John.
Okay, thank you. The first time I've seen the page, but to me it's pretty blasé. Like if someone is going in, and Leo has mentioned as well, if we spruce this page up a little bit, maybe put in on this page what actually is going on for an individual that wants to look at this in particular, rather than look at the whole municipal website and sort of lead through the whole website to find something on accessibility when it could be right on this page. Something, what are we doing? What's this committee doing? And, you know, maybe the committee report could be on this page that people could access. Just a thought on my behalf. I don't know what the rest of the committee might think about that.
Okay.
Well, I haven't looked. Like I used to sit on the Essex County Accessibility Advisory Committee, and they used to have a fabulous website, but I haven't looked in a couple of years. So they used to keep up to date with like pretty much everything. There was always somebody there, I think, updating their website every month. So maybe we should look there and see what their website looks like.
Okay, that's a great idea.
Yeah, like I was just thinking, Rob, that, you know, like someone wants to look at this, they can say, okay, well, this committee met now, and this is what we plan on doing. And then maybe someone from the outside that has an individual with accessibility say, oh, hey, you know, we can go here and check this out. Let's look at this. So I just think there's great opportunity here.
Yeah, food for thought, that's for sure.
I think so too. And to Rob's point, you know, I did take a look at some pages that exist in different municipalities already. Some municipalities have actually quite large accessibility committees, and they're really, really active in terms of what they're providing to the public in terms of resources and what have you. So I did find a page, and I believe it's London. London has a really, really good accessibility page where they've got resources for individuals, for business owners on how to make their place more accessible for people. They post, you know, provincial resources as well. So here is a guide on how to hold an accessible event. If you're having an outdoor event, here is a guide on how to make it more accessible for people. Or if you're holding a large indoor event, here's a guide on how to make that event more accessible for people.
I've
And then
something like that already about the events.
There may
Wow.
be, there may be something contained within the special events guide that would help people with any questions about, you know, how to make their event more accessible. The town of Essex actually looks like they've recently updated their accessibility portion of their website as well. And they do have those resources available. They're actually provincial resources that they have posted for events. And that's always something that we can look at too. There are lots of resources out there. And we could look at fine tuning which ones we, you know, think might be good for the website.
I think we all need a little bit of time to think about this and check out the different pages.
For sure, and that's what we're thinking, that, you know, if this committee would actually like to meet next month, we can absolutely do that. Being that, you know, you have lost a meeting and we're almost at the end of the year, you can take as much time as a committee to think on these things as you want. And then we can reconvene in a month if everybody's able to do so. So we'll try to have.
I'm good for meeting in a month. How about the rest of you?
I'm fine. I'm good.
I'm fine.
Okay, so there we go.
Okay, perfect. So I'll move on to, does anybody have anything else to add that they would, maybe goals or ideas that they have for the committee going forward? And they don't necessarily need to be for 2021, but does anybody have any ideas before we move on from that point?
Not right at the moment,
Okay.
but I'm not sure of the others.
I think one thing we need to do is, even if we do it this way here, we have to meet more often, because then we become more focused and we have more ideas. Right now, we're so far apart because we barely know each other. We've met once and twice this year. You know, we have to get to know each other better so we can feel more comfortable with each other. So we have to do it at least every 3 months, whether it's in person or like this. We have to do it more often.
Okay.
Yeah, go back to almost our regular schedule.
Yeah, that's right. Regular schedule. Yeah, that's all.
Yeah.
Okay. Would the committee like to meet more? So it says that the committee should meet 4 times yearly.
Yeah, but that's old, Angela. Like, I think we've been meeting like every month. We shut down in the summertime, but it's been monthly for like the last couple of years.
Perfect.
So this year.
Not this year because of COVID, right?
Yeah, and if the committee would like to meet more frequently than what the terms of reference say, so if you'd like to continue with monthly meetings, by all means, we can go ahead and do that. So we can set up a meeting for November and December.
Well, that's maybe something that we should look at updating too, is the terms of reference, because I don't think it's been updated in like a dog's age. You know, it's pretty old.
Okay, so I'll just make a note of that. So.
And I think going back to monthly is a good idea. We did
You won't
fine.
get anything done if you don't do it monthly.
No, it's
Karen, because like everything's so far apart. Like if you want to look at site plans come and like they start building like right away. Like, so it's like, it's impossible if you're meeting quarterly, you just get nothing done.
you can't keep up to
No.
action plans.
I think too, Rob, like you said, for the continuity of the committee to meet monthly is probably best. I'm able to do that if the committee is able to, and that's what they want as well. We can set up meetings and maybe come up with a tentative meeting schedule for the remainder of the year in 2021. We could do that so that everybody kind of has an idea of when those meetings may be.
Like
Depending
when's the budget
on
coming? When's budget's coming in soon? Is that in December or?
It's in December. Budget will be at the beginning of December, I believe the first week. John, can you back me up on that?
Yeah, December the 2nd, 3rd, I believe we start on that. Yeah.
Okay, so like if we wanted anything done or whatever, we'd have to budget for that before then for next year, correct?
So in November.
Yeah,
Oh.
we'd have to budget for that for next. Like any ideas or suggestions for something, then we would have to ask for that next meeting.
Okay.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because Angela wants a raise, I hear, so I don't know. We gotta look into that.
No. No. Okay, so next meeting, I've just taken a note that we will look at budgeting different items that the committee might come up with.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. And I'm also going to speak to my manager. She's a clerk, so she would be the one who, at the end of the day, she will give me the directions on what I'm doing with the committees I work with. And I'll let her know that we'd like to look at the terms of reference, when they've been updated, and any possible updates that we might be able to do to those terms. I can bring the terms that exist with me for the next meeting if you'd like me to display them, and we can go over them together as a committee.
I think
Or
it's
send them out before.
Yeah.
Sorry, Rob. Go ahead, Rob.
No, I was just saying, I don't think our terms are very long. It's just like a paragraph or two. I mean, I think we can add more into there. It's just like, if you look at other committees, theirs is like pages long. Ours is nothing on there. It's just so basic. And it's been basic for 20 years, I think. There's nothing on there.
Okay. So I'll bring, I believe they're about a page long. I do know where they live on our drive here. So I'll speak to my manager, get the most up-to-date version of the terms that exist, and then bring them to the next meeting and get the committee's thoughts and feedback on those terms.
Angela, could you?
Yes, John?
Could you email us those out or send them out
Yeah.
to the committee? That
Yeah.
way we wouldn't waste time at a meeting. We can look
Yeah.
at them.
Yeah.
And then
think
we-
about it
Yeah, I'll
before.
send, what I can do after this meeting is send everybody, it'll likely be tomorrow or Friday. I can send everybody just kind of a recap of the meeting, things for you all to maybe do a little bit of research on, and then, and I'll send that document to you.
Yeah, that'll give everybody an opportunity, I think, to review, and if we have any comments or questions, we can bring them up and save a lot of time for the committee.
For
Perfect.
sure.
Yeah, I
Definitely.
agree.
Okay. And anything else on that?
I don't think so. Anyone else?
No.
Okay, so I'm
Oh.
going to stop my share and reshare this. Okay, sorry there. Here we are. Okay, so I just wanted to, I've already kind of touched on this, but I just wanted to provide an update on the multi-year accessibility plan. So a report containing that plan is going to go to council. Because of the pandemic, there was a delay in the presentation of that report to council, but feedback has already been collected by my colleague Denise McGregor from you all back in March on that plan. So I just wanted to update you on that. The next thing is that a member had brought forward last meeting, so this is going back to March, a question as to whether or not maybe the municipality should look at, and I believe it was Rob actually, whether or not the municipality should look into renting accessible chairs for members of the public to utilize. That was you, Rob. Did you want to speak? Did you want to speak to this item, Rob, actually?
I totally forgot all about it. You know, COVID just didn't even get any beach time this year because of COVID. So,
But
I mean,
that was
I
an
don't even
incredible
know how
video.
the municipality would act on that now. But I mean, this is something though, I guess we could put within the budget. We could ask the municipality to do this for next
Perfect.
year.
Yeah.
Right? This
Yeah.
could be an item. I don't know.
Yeah, let's not forget it, because that was an incredible video you sent out to all of us on those.
Yeah. They're quite cool. I watched the commercial myself. I went onto the website as well to look at some of the videos of the chariot in use. And if this is something that you would like to proceed in discussing it, or bringing it to council and seeing if they would consider doing something like this, maybe we can the committee can throw around some ideas as to, if we purchase something like this, where does it live? And how does one access that? Like, what does accessing the chariot look like? John, did you have any ideas actually? Councillor Jacobs?
I really don't, not at this time. This is sort of new to me. The first time I've been exposed to Spartan Wheel. But
Oh.
Angela, like when somebody wants to rent the gazebo, like at the park there, you've got a great big giant gazebo, and that's to be only used when it's rented. How do they rent that? They contact the municipality and say, hey, I want to rent that?
Yep, and that's actually through our complex. So they'll call our front desk here at the municipality, and we'll transfer them to charge staff at the complex, where they would go out, they would go in through a rental process and fill out a rental agreement for that space.
Okay. So I'm just wondering if we could somehow do something similar with the wheelchairs. I don't know if we post stuff down at the beach, say, you know, I don't know.
That's a good point, Rob, because the complex is open 24/7. So, you know, technically, that would be a good contact point.
But I think the other good point, Rob, that you made is that we should think about it as an item in the budget.
Yes, absolutely.
Mhm.
Okay. I'm just
We'll
seeing.
put that on our November agenda.
Well,
Okay.
another item for the budget though, while we're talking about that, is what about those pads that we were discussing this 2 years ago, that we're going to have rollout mats that we're going to go down on the beach, and that just got dropped. We were supposed to discuss that last year and we didn't, and then
Well,
I don't know where that even went. I think it was a $3,000 fee or something. I don't
There's an
remember.
access there now, Rob. I believe that they've put a ramp or there's
No,
some type.
but there's not mats though, John. It's just they have a boardwalk, I guess, is what they have. But it would be nice to have something to go from the boardwalk, because there's still another 150 feet or so between the boardwalk and the actual water. So if they had something that went from the boardwalk to the water, then that would be a little, you know.
And Rob, you're talking about a rubberized mat, right?
Yeah,
That would go,
the
yes.
roll-up mats, yeah.
they had them in Colchester.
Yeah, I've seen the ones at Colchester. Okay, so I'll put that on the list.
I think it was like we discussed a couple of years ago. I don't remember who it was, but I think they said it was like $3,000 or something for that. And they were looking at getting, don't quote me on the price, but they were looking at finding something similar or different. I don't know.
Wasn't that Bashar then, Rob? Wasn't it Bashar that brought it up that
Sure,
time?
yeah, it was like I'm saying, it was a couple of years ago. So it's just kind of, the committee changed and everything just kind of got lost.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, that's absolutely something we can look into. I can do some research on that. And Councillor Jacobs, if you like, I can actually show you a video I have linked it here, of what the Spartan wheel chariot actually looks like. Would you like to see that?
Yeah, you can forward it to me, Angela. I'd appreciate it.
Okay, yeah, I can send that to you so you can have a look. I think that's all I have in terms of the presentation. Does anybody have anything else that they would like to talk to on those issues that we just discussed?
I'm good. If we're going to meet in
That's it.
November.
Okay. Then Karen, I know you don't have an agenda, so we can move on to any new business that anybody might have.
Okay. Any new business out there?
Come on, Donald, you always go with this one.
I'm sorry, somebody was trying to talk to me here. What was the question?
Any new business?
Do you have any new?
Well, one situation I came across, parking at Seacliff Park, and then my lift goes out to the side, and the ramp is right there to go onto the sidewalk. I got a couple of pictures I took.
Yeah, but
I can't get off my ramp, and on that ramp is in the way.
we discussed this when they first poured it, when they very first poured it. We discussed this because it was too narrow, and they were putting that, and I complained about it. You complained about it, and nothing was done about it. Like, I don't get it.
Well,
So it's still a problem.
Yeah, it's still a problem.
I have a couple pictures I took. I guess I sent them to you, Angela.
Send them to me, and I will look into this for you. I will make sure that it is forwarded to the appropriate staff so that we can look into a resolve for the issue.
And maybe
Yeah,
include it in our November agenda.
Okay, I'll add that to the agenda. Yeah.
and I'm the only one that probably has come across that, because my lift is on the side. I don't know, a lot of vans, their lifts are on the back. Yeah,
But even
Well,
if you were
there's
on the
other
back, you
people
wouldn't be
like
able to
you.
park there because you'd be going on the road.
that's
So-
right. That's right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't like how they did that ramp. They put those ramps in between. They did it incorrectly. They didn't do it the right way.
And this is at Seacliff Park.
Yeah, they're up and down. They've got about 5 or 6 parking spots on the road on Forest. And yeah, they're done incorrectly. It was done after the fact, I think. They poured the road and then they poured asphalt on top that went from the road to the curb, and it's just done incorrectly.
Okay.
Rob,
Was it-
you had some other issues down there as well, did you not? I remember when they were going through that.
So the parking spots were too small. Some of them were only, like, one of the accessible parking spots is only 7 feet wide. And I think we have standards that say they're supposed to be 12 feet wide. I mean, so that's again, that was not corrected. There's quite a few issues with the accessible parking.
Yeah, but you had quite a few issues. I'm sorry, Madam Chair, but you had quite a few issues, if I remember correctly, Rob, in respect to some of the inadequacies that were
We
done,
did.
like the ramps and that. And, you know, maybe we should look at that, Angela, and get a
Okay.
list from Rob and get that addressed as well.
Absolutely. Rob and Donald, since you both have had some experiences, if you want to both send me an email with detailing the issues that you've had, I can definitely connect you with the appropriate staff that can take a look at resolving those issues.
Yeah, the handicap spots at Shoppers Drug Mart and at Superstore, they've decided their own way of doing things, and it's not to
I think,
code.
but Don, I think Bashara told us though, because Shoppers Drug Mart got fined with that, and they just decided to pay the fine instead of fixing the actual spot. I think that's what he explained.
Okay.
And I don't know, like, why that was even allowed, but that's what happened, I think. That's
Okay.
the difference.
So I'm thinking too, just based on Rob and Donald, the feedback that you've provided, this is the type of feedback that we could, about barriers that exist in the community, that we could really be gathering on a form that would live on our website.
Yeah, do you have Angela, do you have like standards for, I know there's standards somewhere, but like maybe for the next meeting or something, you can have like, show us the standards for the accessibility parking, like the barrier-free parking spot, like the design standards. The municipality must have them somewhere, right?
We do. They exist within the zoning bylaw. There are parking specifications for different types of uses that exist in the zoning bylaw.
Okay.
And also for the code for the bathroom, how much space should be done, like, I don't know, every different place has issue with the bathroom.
Okay.
And yeah, I guess some private owners that can't do anything about it. But
Are you talking restaurants, Don?
Yeah, they were gonna do something at the marina by the play area to that bathroom. I'm not sure if they did yet.
Yeah, because
There are some issues with COVID in the washrooms at the marina and in the parks. It had to do with COVID. And I don't know if we even opened them up. And if we did, they were only open for certain hours for cleaning. So a lot of that has to do with COVID, Don.
Yeah. Yeah. I know, yeah. Everybody's got that right to blame stuff on COVID.
Yeah. Angela, with Rob and Don's comments about parking and restrictions and so forth, maybe we could invite Chris or someone from building or someone from engineering to the next meeting.
I think that'd be a good idea.
So because I know that some of our other meetings that Bashir would attend, and Chris has attended a couple since his appointment. You know, they can clarify these. And as Don's saying, the guy got a fine because the parking spot wasn't adequate. That doesn't make sense to me. You know,
No,
it should be
no, it
repaired,
doesn't.
redone.
Yeah, so I can definitely look to inviting somebody from development to come in and talk about barrier-free parking and the specifications around that to our next meeting.
Yeah, particularly at Seacliff.
Yes, and we'll do some research on those issues prior to the next meeting, and try to connect both Don and Rob with a staff member here, so that they can fully provide details on the issues that they've had, Don with yours at Seacliff, and look to see if the municipality can find a resolve on those issues.
It's kind of an ongoing issue, it seems like.
Yes, well, we will make sure that the information is passed along. I'll make sure it is, and then I will make sure to connect a staff member on that issue to Don and Rob, and we'll see if they can work with that staff member to find a resolve, hopefully quite quickly if possible.
And with 2025 is when everything is supposed to be somewhat accessible to
Are you joking?
all places.
It's not really
And
done.
I know, but like there's something that we can do to encourage, like maybe not now, but I don't know. To me, COVID is going to be over. All that's left right now is really the fear. Everybody's afraid.
You sound like
COVID
Trump now, Donald.
Oh, well, yes, that's I am Donald. Maybe not necessarily Trump, but because I don't know, like depending on which news source you listen to, but I only hear positive stuff.
Well,
Okay,
we have
well, we
to follow
can-
the Canadian and Ontario Public Health
We can-
recommendations.
We can certainly look to what the, because there's like a phased approach to having everything in place by 2025. We can certainly look to what that phased approach looks like. Every year there are different goals. So this year in 2021 is the accessible website, where, you know, everything and all of the services that are provided online are accessible to the general public. And we can look to see what accessibility looks like and those standards look like, you know, going forward to 2025. And look to fixing some of the issues that both you and Rob have mentioned, Don, ones that you have had personal experiences with. We can certainly look to fixing those issues.
Yeah, and I know as winter and snow removal, I mean, so yeah, if we get an overabundance of snow, then well, that's the fault of the weather. We can't do anything about it. You know, they pile snow on accessible spots and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
I have a question.
Sure.
John Street. So we're doing the construction down on John Street and the accessible parking spots. When's that project supposed to be completed?
Shortly.
Shortly?
So yeah, they're
would it be
in the
done
process
before the
now of
So are they gonna be like,
paving the parking lots and everything currently, Rob.
okay, no, because I just wanted to get down there and check that out, right? Like before the next meeting, because if there's any concerns or whatever, because it looks great down there, right? I mean, but
It
I don't know.
does, yeah.
Yeah,
That's where the issue is, that we haven't met often enough, because when those markings and everything came in, it would have given us an opportunity at this committee to see what the markings are going to be and how they're going to be laid out. So
well, that's the thing, right? So
we the
I'm
ball
just-
on it, Rob,
I'm
right?
just trying to think like, yeah. Are there any like major other projects coming next year where we, like for the next meeting where we could actually see site plans or anything like that? Like, is there anything big coming?
If I may,
Like, 'cause that
Angela,
was a major project, or like that was big. But
I don't think that there's anything, any street configurations that I'm aware of currently. The major ones are done with the Mill Street, and then with the access for the parking on, off a mill. Like those are all new projects for this year. And actually, those are things we should be looking at too for parking and accessibility, Rob.
Well, yeah, I'm always looking for that. Like I'm always on the lookout for that. So
Yeah.
constantly.
Okay. Like Councillor Jacobs said, I've been at most of the council meetings lately, and I don't recall having heard about any upcoming projects that the committee would have to look at or would want to look at. I'll keep my ears peeled or my ears open so that I'm aware of anything that you might want to have a look at. But as Councillor Jacobs said, John Street is definitely the big project right now. And it does, I drove past today, and a lot of the sidewalk areas poured. They've got like the bump outs in there. It looks like it should be ready soon. I'm not sure that there's a target date, but the work's moving pretty fast down there now. So
I'll try to get out there then, like before the next meeting. So mid-November sometime, right? I would think so. Yeah.
yeah, I would think so. Anything else anybody wants to add?
No?
Not me.
Okay, so do you want to pick a meeting time for our next meeting?
Sure. I've taken a look at the calendar. John, you'll have to tell me, or Councillor Jacobs, you'll have to tell me if this meeting and date might work for you from what you know now. November 25th. It's a Wednesday. It's a little less than a month from now, and we can meet at 3 p.m. again via Zoom, if everybody is okay with that date.
What was that? Which date?
November 25th.
Yeah, that's good.
It's good?
Right
Good for
there?
me. I don't have anything.
Yeah.
Down.
I'm good.
You're
I'm good.
good. You're
I'm
good,
good.
Rob. Don, are you good?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, and then we will check in with George to make sure he is good as well. And we will go ahead and schedule a meeting for that date. If no other meetings pop up, any special council meetings, anything like that, I don't think that will happen, but you never know. So we'll say right now that that is our tentative meeting date for
Sounds
the
good.
next meeting.
Sounds good. So shall we call for adjournment?
Sure.
Yes.
Moved by Rob,
Yep.
Moved by Rob, seconded by
by
Leo.
Leo.
Okay. And 3:55.
Don't hang up yet, Angela.
Uh-oh.
I have
Okay.
I have that other document that's not related to this.
Pardon me, sorry?
I have that other document that's not related to this meeting.
Oh, okay.
So I have it. I got it today.
Okay, that sounds great, Leo. You can just pop that in our Dropbox, okay?
Oh, the one outside there?
Yep, the one outside.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
thank
I'll do that
you.
tomorrow.
Okay, we'll see you all the 25th. I will be in contact via email.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you. Bye,
Good to see
everyone.
everybody. Take care. And be
Take care.
careful of
Bye.
COVID there.
Ciao.
See ya. See ya, Angela. Good job, Angela.
Bye, thank you.